Hey guys, just want to say something really quick. People keep talking about the fact that we are not the real Jews, and the real Jews don't even exist anymore, and the Jews who lived in Israel, the Jews today are not the same people who lived in Israel. Folks, I just want to let you know, today, there are people living, there are Jews living all over the world. Most of them are Orthodox Jews. Some of them are not, but most of them are, in terms of what I'm referring to. These Orthodox Jews have in their possession genealogical charts of their families. You know, we're talking about rabbis, we're talking about people who are not rabbis, but people who kept what's called the Masorah, the tradition, but it's a really mistranslation, a Masorah that's passed down, dating back all the way to the land of Israel, an unbroken chain. The chain is not broken. For example, in my family, because of the communist regime, the Soviet regime, the chain was, I can't say it was broken, but it was a little bit detached in my grandfather's, partially in my grandfather's and partially, for sure, in my father's generation. And so, in order for me to go back and do some kind of genealogy in terms of the Torah, in terms of where my family goes back to in Israel, I would have to go digging in archives in, places like Berdichev in Ukraine, and places like Kiev and other places, in Odessa, not Kiev, actually Odessa, and another place called Zhytomyr. I would have to do some digging, right? I have to actually, if this war ends, I would have to go to Ukraine. A person like myself and other people like me would have to do a little bit of digging. Folks, there are people who never had the broken chain because their families were always frum, were always religious. And so the people that you call, white European, they should go back to Poland and Germany and all those places. Folks, those people, just like myself, they're not from Poland, they're not from Germany, they're not from Russia, they're not from Ukraine. They trace their genealogy, unbroken, religious, and genetic genealogy all the way back to the land of Israel. They literally have these documents, they have these charts. And it wasn't some schmuck who sat down and just drew a chart just because, he wanted to draw a chart and show some kind of fake genealogy. Folks, these are documents that are passed down in the family trees. Folks, there are people that can date. There are some people in places like Flatbush and Lakewood and other places. I'm just giving two examples of many that can literally trace their families back to certain rabbis inside the Talmud. There's a lot of talk about the Talmud and Talmud and Talmud. There's some guy that claimed he read the whole Talmud. It's a book, 300 pages long. Folks, it's not 300 pages. It's entire volumes. And if you claim you read it, you're an idiot. We don't believe you. The guy who claims he read it, it's all 300 pages. It's not 300 pages, and the thing is written in Aramaic. So what did you read? But the point is, guys, these people can trace their entire family back to some of these rabbis who are spoken of in the Talmud. There's people I've met that are related to, Rava and Abaye. Like, literally. Just an example. I'm just throwing out names. There's entire, there's pairs. There's, learning pairs. There are rabbis who learned in pairs, right? Ravina and Ravashi, Rava and Abaye, etc., etc. There's people living today that can trace their genealogy back to those people. Yeah, you could say, well, those rabbis lived in Babylon. Some of those rabbis lived in Israel. Everything they were speaking about in that book in terms of laws, they were talking about the land of Israel. Laws pertaining to the land of Israel, laws pertaining to the temple, laws pertaining, how do we know how to pray today? The evening and daytime prayers. These are prayers that correspond to the rituals that were done in the temple where? In Jerusalem. Folks, I don't even know why this is still a discussion. It's astounding that there are people who literally claim that we are not the same people that lived in Israel 2,000 years ago, that we have nothing to do with those people, that we're from this, we're from that, when they know damn well that we ended up in those places because of exile, because we were kicked out of Israel. And now you could say, well, you were kicked out of Israel, and Quran says you were kicked out because you did. If you want to say that, you can. If you want to have that opinion, but don't say that we are not the same people. We're the same people. We have an unbroken chain. The chain is not broken. Not that we care what you think. Folks, I'm speaking mainly to the Jews right now. For those of you who think, who are convinced, who have been convinced. I know some of you guys think, I've met Jews like this. Yeah, we're Ashkenaz, and then the Sephardim belong in Israel. We're Ashkenazim, we're European. No, folks. If you want to go genetics, Ashkenazim, the Jews who went to Europe, who were, after being kicked out of Israel, who ended up in a genetic bottleneck, are actually genetically closer to Arabs than Sephardim are, even though the Sephardim lived among Arabs. Folks, learn something. Just learn something instead of listening to people who hate us. We were scattered all over the world. Baruch Hashem, Judaism became a portable religion. We kept it in the diaspora. But we're not from Poland. We're not from Germany. We're not from any of these places. That's just where we landed. Just like some of us landed in America after the Soviet Union. Originally we landed in Russia and Ukraine, wandered around. It became the Soviet Union, then we landed in America. Some of us landed elsewhere, Australia. South America, Canada. My friends, our home is the land of Israel. Period. Genealogy speaks to it. History speaks to it. Archaeology speaks to it. Anthropology speaks to it. You can deny it until you're blue in the face. We know the truth. The whole world knows the truth. Even the people that say the lie know the truth. Why? Because they hate us. Okay. Folks, this is not even a discussion. It's not even a discussion. It shouldn't be a discussion, but we allow it to be a discussion. I don't know why. All right, guys. Shavua Tov. Have a good week.